And all the polls say that if they voted today, they'd probably vote for this guy. Okay, now out come the women. Okay, and that didn't work. Then out comes another woman, and it looks like that one's going to work. Okay, I don't know. Phase 3 would be, 14-year-old boy or something like that. I mean, I don't know, but I think that if you're not owned as a candidate, you don't get to be president. That's what I think. And I think that those who are behind the curtain, there's a curtain back here. I don't know if anybody's back here. I guarantee you, in this place here, there's no one behind the scenes telling me what to say other than this. Okay? I guarantee you. And I have had people, not anybody here in this church, but I've had people recently from outside of this church, people who, followed, try to force me into, saying this or going this direction or whatever. And I just don't do that. I'm not going to do it. And so anyway, but I have this theory that if you're not owned and they don't have the ability to control you, you cannot be president of the United States. I think they learned this lesson, the people behind the scenes, with JFK. JFK, in my opinion, he was a Democrat, he was a liberal, and he was a Roman Catholic and all this stuff, and a philanderer. He loved the ladies. He was all of those things, but I think he had an independent streak about a half a mile long, and I think that him and Bobby Kennedy decided they were just going to do things the Kennedy way, and that wasn't necessarily the other way, and that was evident. I'm talking, this is fact. Because we know for a fact that when LBJ finally made it back to the White House, now he's the sitting president of the United States, he has papers sitting on his desk reversing executive orders that Kennedy had put into effect. One of them was the breakup of the CIA. Another one was that we're pulling out of Vietnam. We know that for a historical fact. And so Kennedy obviously made some decisions that were not vetted by the people behind the scenes, and that could very well be one of the reasons why his life ended at the interesting number of 46 years old. And so, Herman Cain, it was nice to know you while you were around, but it looks like that he may very well just all of a sudden just up and decide that I don't want to be president anymore, okay? Well, look, Herman, if women is your problem, maybe you should have Bill Clinton run your reelection campaign. I mean, he knew how to dodge it, and he dodged it well. Okay, maybe you should have Clinton be your campaign manager. That headline on Drudge Report has been replaced by the European crisis. My old buddy Mike up in Canada, he was kind of making fun of me. He sent me an email this morning, is why I thought of his name. He was kind of making fun of me for not getting a deer season. Did you get a deer season, eh? And I said, no, Mike. He said, no, I didn't get a moose either, eh? A moose is like, 48 times larger than the little whitetail deer that we shoot down here. So anyway, but he sends me some emails about some things going on in Europe. And if you remember from a Watchman broadcast that we did a few weeks ago, here's the Vatican coming out and saying, we think there should be an international World Bank. We think that there should be total control of all the economies of the world. In nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sanctus. That's what the Vatican said. Vatican was calling for the centralization of all the world's economical systems into one teeny tiny little thing. controlled by just a very few people. Okay? That's Revelation 13. It's about total control. How do you get there? How do you get total control? Let me tell you a little, and I may be like totally stupidly wrong on this. Let me tell you a little story about how this works. This does go back to the days of Bill Clinton. And I actually have more important things to discuss here, but I'm on a roll, so just go with me here. There was a chicken processing company in America called Hudson Foods. They had chicken processing plants all over the country. And they did one thing, and they did one thing well. They took chickens, cut their head off. Let me go off this for just a second. Apparently, the whole butterball turkey fiasco, apparently that wasn't true. Snopes.com, Snopes.com, Snopes.com. If you ever get one of these emails saying, oh my goodness, if you know, and they'll give you all this bizarre thing that you're not ever supposed to do, go to Snopes.com. Don't just say, we went to Snopes.com. Go to Snopes.com and find out. They kind of figure out what's the urban legends and what's real and what's not. And apparently, according to Snopes.com, butterball turkey in America is not halal certified. Okay? It's not done that way. They do have plants in different areas of the world in which that it is, but apparently in America it's not halal certified. So I'm over it. Okay? But anyway, back to Hudson Foods. Hudson Foods was a chicken processing company in America. And Tyson Foods, this was while Bill Clinton was president. Tyson Foods, which is the Arkansas chicken man, and quite the chicken man. I have seen Tyson farms in central Arkansas, and they are a sight to behold. But anyway, Don Tyson has a lot of money, and he has a lot of power, and he has a lot of influence. And oh, by the way, he just happens to know on a first, Don Tyson can call Bill Clinton while he's president and say, hey, Bill, okay? And Bill Clinton says, yes, Mr. Tyson, what can I do for you today? Okay? That's Don Tyson. And so Don Tyson wants to buy out Hudson Chicken, Hudson Foods. Hudson Foods says, no thanks. You know, we're in kind of a, little bit of a bind here, but we'll get ourselves out of it. And we're not about to sell our company to yours. You understand what that is? It's not just about money. It's about control. Whoever controls everything. It's about centralized control. If you have two companies doing the same thing, you can't control both of them. If you have one company doing it, you can control it. So Don Tyson wants to buy out Hudson Chicken. Hudson says no. All of a sudden, for some strange reason, health inspectors go into a Hudson food processing plant and say, oh, no, we have what amounts to be the worst case of salmonella poisoning that we have ever seen in the history of planet Earth. We're wondering why people aren't dead in the streets right now. They shut down all of the Hudson food plants to investigate, to sterilize, to do everything in the world. Hudson's stock goes down the toilet. Don Tyson comes in and says, I'll buy you out. And they bought them out. It worked. Okay? This is how things go. Behind the curtain, behind the scenes, this is how things go. And so here is the Vatican that says we think there ought to be we think there be guys in one room smoking cigars and sucking on brandy and some Catholic priests around them that tell them what to do. And we think this group ought to be able to run the entire economic thing all over the world. Okay? How do you do that? You have to crash the system. You have to destroy the system. I'm pretty good around here. I'm the computer tech guy at our church. And we have, I don't know, like 87 and a half computers sitting around here everywhere. Not really. But everybody that works here just about has a computer. And I'm not always looking to fix their problems on their computer unless there's a problem. And if Lindsay's computer ended up being eat up with viruses, well, I'm not apt to just change the whole operating system. until I find out there's a big problem and the system crashes. After the system crashes, I can go in and do this. This is what's going on right now. Okay, Euro, the headline on Drudge Report, Euro on the brink. Eurozone looks to IMF for rescue. Germany told must act to save Europe. Finance ministers turn to radical ideas. And they approve 11 billion loan for Greece. Okay, and they're talking like the problem or the crash is days away. Okay, just days away. I think it's a controlled demolition, is what I think. Some people think there was a controlled demolition of the World Trade Towers. I'm ignorant of that, which means that I don't know. Okay, and you can send me all the videos you want to. I still won't know. I wasn't there. And so I don't know. What I do know is the symbolism behind it, and that's what I focus on. But I think that there is a controlled demolition of the European economy, which is going to lead probably to the American economy, which is going to, like a domino effect all over the world. And then there's going to be a new world order, beast power, rise up. I have an article, and I don't have it up here. I plan on probably doing like a Watchman video on this one of these days. I have an article from The Economist from back in 1988. And The Economist talks about the European Union and the euro, the new commerce, the new currency of the European Union, and it features a phoenix rising up out of the ashes of all of these bills, dollar bills, and different forms of currency laying around all over the place. And I'm going, that I understand. I understand the symbolism. I don't need to go to the Bilderberg meeting. I don't need to sit in and listen to the secret conversations. You show me the symbol, and I get it. Speaking of which, let me bring this up here. Somebody sent me this, I think just today. By the way, those of you writing in on Pastor Mike Online, I'll get to you probably in a little bit. Maybe. I'm on a roll. I like to be on a roll today. He says, Pastor Mike, I'm a dispatcher for 911, and I'm going to take his phone number down and call him if I'm ever in, any problem. And I hope he doesn't mind me giving his phone number out over the air. It's 911. But anyway, he said, Pastor Mike, we are going to a new software for our deal. Do I hear music? No, just checking. All right. We're going to a new software control system for our 911 call center. It's called Pro Phoenix. Okay? Shifting the public safety software paradigm. It's a paradigm shift. Okay? Let's see. It's got connections to courthouse, the sheriff's office, the police department, EMS, fire, and undoubtedly there's got to be a certain amount of governmental control. I'm talking about federal governmental control built into this software somehow, some way. Pro Phoenix, 911. Think about that. 911, 9/11. Okay, I think there's some symbolism there. But anyway, a paradigm shift. Okay. A paradigm shift, a transformation. That's what the Phoenix symbol is all about. It's about transformation. You want to transform the nation's economies, okay? It's got to dive into the fire, baby, and it's doing that right now, so that out of the ashes of this fire rises up a new economic system in its place. Think about why this would be Pro Phoenix software. Out of the ashes of some terrible nationwide catastrophe, we're going to come to the rescue and save the day. And it's the shifting the public safety software paradigm. This came to my house last month. Actually came the first of this month, or last month, somewhere around in there.